dear students. Now we will look into the module 1. The pending modules are module 1 and module 2. So in module 1 it is about introduction and influence lines. Module 2 is moving load. Earlier for your seniors they had influence line and moving loads as a module number 5, the last module together they had. Now they have divided it into two. First one is influence lines separately and moving loads separately. So coming to the introduction, we have the structural forms, conditions of equilibrium, compatibility conditions, degree of freedom, then linear and non-linear analysis, static and kinematic indeterminacies of structural systems. Along with that, few problems to find out the static and kinematic indeterminacies we will see. The remaining concepts like ILD and moving loads will be explained by Rakesh sir. So here let us see the module 1, the introduction. So in broad classification a structure can be divided into substructure and superstructure. Further, the structural forms we can have as a skeletal structure, then superstructure, then also solid structure. The substructure is a structure which is below the ground level. Superstructure is a structure which is above the ground level. Again, the skeletal structure, which can also be called as a 1D structure, surface structures can be called as a 2D structure, and solid structures can also be categorized as 3D elements. The examples for skeletal structure are beams, columns, cables and arches. The surface structures slab, thin plates, shells and domes. Similarly, for solid structure you can have concrete dams, marble statue, machine foundations, then few frames you can have as the example for solid structure. Now we will see the first one, the 1D structure, or which is also called as a skeletal structure. So if the dimension of a particular structural element is predominant over only one axis, then it is called as a 1D structure. For example, you consider beam. The length is predominant or which is comparatively very large when you compare with its cross-sectional dimensions. So it can be categorized as a 1D element. Similarly, a column. When you compare its cross-sectional dimensions here, the width and depth of a column, which is very small when you compare it with the height. Then another example is a cable or wires or steel bars whose diameter or cross-sectional area is very small when you compare with its length. Now you see a 2D element. So if the structure whose dimensions are predominant along two axes, then it is called as a 2D structure. For example, a slab. Slab is having width and breadth very large when you compare with its thickness, so it is a 2D element. Similarly, you can have a panels used in ships, or you can also consider the aeroplanes. Those will come under the 2D elements. Similarly, the shells you can see here, these are the shells whose dimensions are predominant in 2 dimension and 2 direction, and the thickness is very small when compared with other 2 dimensions. Similarly, you can have a plane frame also as an example for a 2D element or 2D structure. The 3D structures, you see the dimensions are distributed along all the 3 axes. There is no predominancy or there is no dominancy. A space frame you can take as the example, space truss you can give as an example, or a north light shell, this is called north light shell, can be given as an example for 3D structure. Now let us see the conditions of equilibrium. This is already discussed many times. A 3D system has got totally 6 conditions of equilibrium: sigma fx, sigma fa, sigma fz, sigma mx, sigma my and sigma mz. All these are equal to 0. But in the case of a 2D element, sigma fx, sigma fa and sigma mz are equal to 0, which can also be told that sigma h equal to 0, sigma v equal to 0 and sigma m equal to 0. So you have to remember, for a 3D system totally 6 degrees of freedom are available, and for 2D system the conditions of equilibrium available is nothing but totally 3. Now let us see the boundary conditions. Again, this is also discussed. Boundary condition or support conditions you can see here. For example, you consider a fixed support. So totally a fixed support can have three reactions, one reaction vertically, another reaction horizontally, and there can be a moment. A pinned or hinged support can develop two reactions. One is along y-axis, along x-axis, and it is free to rotate, so there will not be any moment developed. A roller support in which you can find the moment, and you can also find the horizontal reaction. Okay, so those things are allowed. That means you can find reaction only along y-axis, which is called as a roller support. It has got 2 degrees of freedom. It can rotate and also it can move along x direction. So only it is restrained against moving in the y direction. So now let us see statically determinate structure. So any structure is said to be a statically determinate structure when the forces and bending moments can be determined by using equations of equilibrium. For example, you see the beams or trusses where both ends are simply supported, the cantilever beam you consider, or three-hinged arches you consider. All these things can be analyzed using conditions of equilibrium. So here, for example, you consider a cantilever beam. Number of reactions which are possible to develop in this particular cantilever beam is equal to totally 3. Number of equilibrium equation available equal to 3, so 3 minus 3 equal to 0, so it is a statically determinate structure. What do you mean by statically indeterminate structure? Any structure which cannot be analyzed not only by using conditions of equilibrium, which is called as statically indeterminate structure. For example, a fixed beam in the sense number of reaction equal to 3 plus 3 6, number of equations of equilibrium available equal to 3, 6 minus 3 equal to 3. So static or it is statically indeterminate, and the degree of indeterminacy is equal to 3 in the case of fixed beam. Similarly, proper cantilever beam statically indeterminate to degree of indeterminacy 1, then 2 hinged arch. So if number of reactions equal to 3 into n, then it is called a statically determinate structure. If r is greater than 3n, then it is called statically indeterminate structure. If you have internal hinges present, then r plus I equal to 3n, it is called statically determinate. If r plus I is greater than 3n, it is called statically indeterminate structure. R is number of reaction, n is number of parts. Now let us see what you mean by compatibility condition. So if a structure is statically indeterminate, some additional equations are required to solve that particular statically indeterminate structure. So usually what we do is we try to relate the applied loads and reactions to the displacements. We try to represent the reactions and applied loads in the form of displacement or slope at various points of the structure. So these equations are called as compatibility equations. So for a particular statically indeterminate structure, the number of compatibility equations required is always equal to the degrees of indeterminacy of that particular structure. Now you see what do you mean by degree of freedom. Very important. The degree of freedom is also called as kinematic indeterminacy. So usually the degree of freedom is defined as the number of independent components of joint displacements with respect to specified set of axes, which is called as the degrees of freedom. So last concept in this particular theory part is linear and non-linear analysis. First let us see linear analysis. So whenever the deformation of structure are linear combination of applied loads, it is called as linear analysis. So the purpose of linear analysis is to identify transformations. Transformation is nothing but the displacement and inverse transformation between these two set of quantities. So this transformation is called as stiffness matrix of the structure. So linear analysis is quite simple when you compare with the non-linear analysis. So whenever the deformation of the structure are linear combination of load and load, it is called as a linear analysis. Now non-linear analysis, here especially the non-linear relationship between loads and displacements are considered for many reasons, including associated material and geometric non-linearity are also considered. So the common solution technique considered for non-linear relationship are little bit difficult than the linear analysis. So these are the differences between linear and non-linear analysis. So this completes the theory part of module 1. Next video lecture we will take few problems to find out the static, whether the given problem is a statically determinate or indeterminate